going to start the morning off with a little greasing. Of course, you'd know my grease gun was out of grease. And there's nothing any funner than trying to load a grease gun. Seems like every time I go to load one, loading it, putting the grease in there, that's not the hard part, but it's like you got to prime it every time. Every time. I've yet to have a good grease gun. I always buy Lincoln grease guns, but still, they can be fits. Anyway, skid steer sitting there running, getting warmed up. We're going to pack a bunch of logs this morning. We still got some trees to cut, obviously, but I want to get most of this stuff here packed up today. And then I'll either start piling tops today or I'll start tomorrow. I haven't really decided on when I'm going to do that. We've got plenty to do right now, but it's got to be done. But I at least want to get all my logs up here and get them kind of laid out. I think they're calling for some weather to move in tomorrow. I know we're supposed to get some really high winds tomorrow, so we need to get the majority of our cutting done today. We were going to go to a different part of the farm and cut tomorrow, but that might be out of the question now because I know they're calling for like some 45 to 50 mile an hour gust in this area, which it seems like this fall over here, I guess now the second day of winter, but this fall over here the winds really played a big factor in working. We've had a lot of really windy days, some high wind days, and cutting timber in that wind is never fun, especially cutting walnut. So I'm going to get greased up real quick, or try to. I'll probably be the one that gets greased up. And then we're going to start moving some logs. Seriously. Well, gosh dang it. Here's half the battle right here. Tell you what would be easier is how I get my hands all dirty. Always keep a wrench in my back pocket. Of course, then grease gets on my gloves. I thought pretty serious about an electric grease gun. Never used one, don't know much about them. Gosh dang it. Of course, these are like the cross-threadingest things there ever were. Oh, gosh dang it. A little grease here on the threads. Maybe that'll help. Yeah, so cross-threading's real easy with these, it seems like. They're real coarse, or fine threads, I'm sorry. There we go. Prime pretty quick today. Let's see here. Let's start grabbing some and getting them out. Kind of where we left off yesterday. Brushing that one. Naggle that around. Haven't seen much action the last 2 weeks. Quite honest with you, I wouldn't care if we logged like this all the time, but that ain't the case. This is pretty easy logging right here. Anytime you get it cut out in the open, just work with a skid steer instead of the log skidder. It's pretty enjoyable, really. This tree here has got a bunch of debris around it from years and years ago. It's a pretty good sized tree. We definitely want to cut it. So I switched out to the bucket real quick here. We're going to move some of this stuff out so we can get in here and cut it. Try to keep you out of the sun. Some squirrels or some pack rats or something have been hanging out in that brush pile. I'm not so sure we can dig down on this one a little bit. See if I can scratch the ground and find out here. No, I don't think we can. I think we're right there at the root system. So no digging down. I thought we could for a minute the way it looked, but stumps starting to flare out there. That's how we know we can't dig down. Now, as I've said before, digging trees, everybody, it's one of those things where when one person says it, immediately people are like, that's pretty cool, everybody should be able to do that. Or every tree should be able to be dug down on. That's not the case at all. Digging trees is one of those things where you definitely got to pick and choose your battles. And some trees, like I said, like this one here, at first I thought we could dig down on it. The stump's already flaring out there. So it doesn't make any sense to try to dig around because we're not going to gain anything. Now sometimes, in certain areas, especially along creeks, where silt and sediment wash in over time around the tree, you can dig down quite a ways. There's been times we've dug down 4 and 5 feet before to get down to the stump to cut it. And again, that's only justifiable on big trees, good trees where it's worth our time to dig it, and trees where, you know, you can actually dig down. Because like I said, you can't dig down on every tree. This one here, see, it's already flaring out there, the root system, so that's as deep as you can really go on it. Dad's across the way over there cutting one. You can kind of see him there hiding behind that cedar tree. I think that's the last one right here to cut. I come over and worked this one up just a second ago. Got it bucked to length. There's some of these treetops back here. So we can get in here. Well, my phone rang there and we missed the tree falling up there. I wanted to get that on film. Let's see if we can pick this brood up. Like her gloves. Just set it here for right now. Big chunk of wood right there. Well, darn, when I bucked this up, I'd kind of, this crotch piece up here, I had it to where I could pick it up and we could split it right there, but you can see when we move that big piece, it already split right through there, so not necessarily a bad thing, but for a little theatrical effects, I wanted to be able to pick it up and bust it. this afternoon. We're going to go down here. Dad's, might be able to see him back there now in his little truck. We're going to go back down there. We've got a few trees right next to this little old slough. Pretty good trees. We're going to try to fish them out this afternoon. Get them up here. This bunch is all bucked. I've just got to pack them up here with the main bunch. Hopefully this little bunch here, it'll round out the day. Hopefully it won't be as windy down there, kind of along that slough and under the hill. Now what we've done here is they've got this fenced off because there's an old slough here. Then they've got a crop field on the other side. This is an old 3-strand barbed wire fence, which is kind of unusual because it seems like most fences here in this part of the world are always 5-strand, but it's an old fence. So what I did, I cut that, and I always keep some barbed wire on the back of my truck in one of the toolboxes, which it's, if you look, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. Well, you probably can't because I can't. It's down there right next to the forks by that big oak tree. It's on a spool. Come on, girl. So what we'll do when we're done getting these few trees out of here, we'll just fix that fence back up, get it tight. It'll be just as good as it was when we cut it. Fix it up with some of that new wire. And away we'll go. Now the wind's still pushing pretty hard down here. I thought it might be a little less than what it was on top of the hill, but it seems to be blowing pretty good. If you look up in these tree tops, they're kind of rocking around. Not a good day to be falling trees, but it ain't going to be any better tomorrow. I think we've just got 5 of these things to cut down here. And normally, you guys know me, I don't like to bring my skid steers into the timber like this. But for just these 5 trees, I think we'll be all right. It's fairly open down here. Get up here close enough we can see the action. That's a pretty good sized tree there. ahead and stage all of our logs out here right now. Then when we're done, we'll worry about packing them up to the deck later. But it's a pretty good pack up there. Good tree right there. Now what we do when Dad gets them cut, I'll get out and I'll buck them. He'll mark them, or I'll buck them as he marks them, however you want to say it. Then I go ahead and just pack them on out. It kind of speeds things up. Looks like we got a pretty good fire over here across the way. You can't hardly see the smoke right here through the trees, but it's rolling pretty good. It's off another big farm we've got to cut the timber on. We have cut some timber on it already, and we've got to cut more on it yet here in the next couple weeks. Some really good bur oak, maple and ash, more good walnut. Good tall trees down here in this little arm of this slough, I guess. I almost kind of wonder if at one time the creek didn't come back through here and outrun. Because I looked at timber last Friday on this slough about a quarter mile to the north there. Seen some good timber over there. Now these walnut are cut really thin sapped. That's what we like to see. Nothing super big, but they're really clean, exceptionally good quality trees. So 2 down, 3 to go. This will be the, or 2 down, yeah, 2 down, 3 to go. I get confused sometimes, I get to talking. So this will be the 3rd tree to cut. Dad makes pretty quick work of them. Goes. That wind's playing a factor today in these things. Definitely playing a factor today. 12-footers here. Cutting pretty good stuff when you make your second cuts 12. Now the reason we made 2 12s instead of 124 on this particular log was just to pick up the footage. If the tree had been a little bigger in diameter, we could have made one 24-foot log, but it's really not a big enough tree to keep into a multiple cut log, diameter wise. I mean, it's a good tree, don't get me wrong. But it's just not good enough to leave long. Three 12s and a 10. The cuts we've made on it. These 12-footers can be kind of hard to get out of the timber. Push on this one. This is the good thing about using the skid steer. You can get up high to push. pushing is just applying pressure to the tree. Of course, the wind is in our favor on this one. She goes. Got the last few trees today, got them out. Got them laid up here on the landing. Starting to get a pretty good pile of logs up there. Look across there, it's 2 rows. So there's some footage there. That's a healthy pile of logs there. These things sorted out, looking good. Yes, sir. That's a pretty good pile of logs for a day and a half. You, Dad, bucked up and laid out. Still got to do the cleanup. I'd meant to get to that today and finding those other trees and getting them worked up. Took a little longer than thought, but that's okay. We've got the next couple days. Jump out here and look at these things real quick with you guys. Well, there's some good logs in here and there's some just logs in here. But that's every job. They're like I said, I want them all. I love them, every one. Got some short pieces. A lot of times on these 6s and 7s, we don't cut too many 6 and 7 foot pieces. When we do, they've got to have some size to them. Even if they're rough like this, as long as they've got some size, 20 inches plus, we can use some 6 and 7s. I try to utilize everything we can when we cut a tree, so that's why you'll see them. Now, what I do need to go through here still yet and do is I need to come through here and round these logs, get them cleaned up a little bit. But I'm in such a hurry today. This took a little longer than I thought this afternoon. I actually need to be on the road right now, getting out of here, but we're going to do a walkthrough real quick, kind of look at these things. I know they're calling for some weather to move in tonight. That's why we got all this wind today. So I don't know if we'll get a cut much tomorrow or not. I know they're calling for some light rain. The next part of the place with the cutting, it's down the road, so neighbor through that's one of them honor ones. I can't believe more of them didn't cut bad like that, honestly, which, looking at this tree, you can tell it was going to be ornery. It's ate up with worm. Looks like somebody shot it with a shotgun. It's so wormy. Black. Just a piece of lumber is all it is. This old devil here, it's kind of it's actually a pretty good log, all things considered. You can see some lightning scars right here. Several times it's been struck. We're getting in deep right here. Luckily, that doesn't go anywhere. That part down there at the bottom, that doesn't go too far, but it's still, we don't like seeing it. Of course, you got another burnout here from a lightning scar. This is part of that tree. We'll come through here, clean that up, round it. So they're a good big set of logs. I like the size. This here's a pretty good log right here. It's a pretty good stick of wood. You got one little blemish right there you can see, but other than that, fairly thin sap for the size. It's got some lumber material here. All a good bunch of logs. I suspect there's probably right in the 6,000 feet range is what I'm thinking. Wind's about to blow us away. I don't know what you guys can hear. It might be too distorted. Not real sure. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate all the views, the comments, the likes, the follows, the subscribes. everything we've been getting the last couple weeks on all of our social outlets, personal outlets, my personal outlet on Instagram and Facebook. I don't do a lot with either one of them because I mainly see you guys right here. Anyway, like I said, tomorrow's kind of up in the air. I know they're calling for higher wind tomorrow, but it's gusting pretty good right now, as you can hear. Storm's coming in, so the rest of the week might be a wash. I don't know. I hope not. If anything, we'll for sure do some cleanup as long as it ain't raining too hard and too sloppy. We'll get all these tops cleaned up, and if anything, we'll get the next bunch up next week. It's on the same farm here, so it's not too bad. Just about a quarter mile over this way. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Have a Merry Christmas. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.